Post-training notice. National First Class Registered Exorcist. Volume 2, JIXIAN. Chapter 24. Heading north. The setting sun shone through the window. Xiang Cheng lay at the end of the bunk, while JIXIAN made a nest for Sigui and put it in his clothes. Xiang Cheng, how come you also brought it in? JIXIAN smiled and said, Sigui found me with one glance on the platform and nestled into my hat. It's all right, they rarely check for this kind of thing in the soft sleeper cabins. JIXIAN lay against Xiang Cheng's body, and Xiang Cheng hugged JIXIAN with both arms. They faced the window and looked out at the mountains and rivers bathed in the summer twilight. What are you thinking about? Xiang Cheng asked as the train swayed along. I was thinking about my college years. JIXIAN said with a smile, the last time I took a train was 4 years ago, when I graduated. Was college fun? JIXIAN said, every day when my friend went to class, he would also take me there by bike. It would have been nice if we had known each other earlier. I could have been eating more of the tasty things you make for many years now. Xiang Cheng looked out of the window and said, I didn't go to college, or even primary school. Your handwriting is very beautiful. JIXIAN turned his head and glanced at him. Xiang Cheng said, my mom taught me to read and write. I don't know pinyin and I can only type using strokes. Before, what she taught me was actually traditional characters. Only later did I slowly learn simplified characters. JIXIAN. How long did she teach you? JIXIAN asked. Until I was 8. After that, I followed my dad to catch, to hunt, and then I never studied again. Everything else came from reading on my own. Xiang Cheng narrowed his eyes slightly and the red light shone on his heroic brow, as if he was caught in a faraway dream. You're so smart. JIXIAN said, you learned all the characters when you were 8, you studied on your own in the meantime, and you also have more common worldly knowledge. I still don't understand a lot of subjects. Xiang Cheng said, it's the problem with not having gone to school much. You college students are the ones who are great. You can calculate things, draw diagrams and also understand English, physics, and chemistry. You understand so many things. JIXIAN laughed and said, your mom must also be very smart. Do you look more like your dad or your mom? More like my mom. Xiang Cheng pinched JIXIAN and said, after the first time I went away on a long journey with my dad, she had left by the time we got home. Ah. JIXIAN said in surprise, did you find her later? Xiang Cheng shook his head and said, I found her when I was 17, but she had died by then. JIXIAN didn't ask any further, and the sleeper car was very quiet. JIXIAN's only wish was for no one to come over. It was dinner time, and JIXIAN bought boxed meals from the cart and sat down with Xiang Cheng to eat. The atmosphere had suddenly grown heavy. Xiang Cheng realized this, smiled, and asked, what about you? When are we going to visit your family? My grandmother has passed away. JIXIAN said, I went back to handle that during college. My parents are divorced, and I don't know where my dad went. We can't find him anywhere. My mom remarried and went to Taiwan. Xiang Cheng nodded, and JIXIAN said, my dad used to be a fisherman in the fishing village of Zhuhai. Later, the economy opened up and the area developed. The family land was acquired by the government and the demolition fee they gave us was 1,000,000 yuan. At that time, 1,000,000 yuan was a lot. It's probably equivalent to several millions now. A huge sum of money. Xiang Cheng said. JIXIAN said, we suddenly had a sum of money and it was not long after the reform and opening up policy took place. In that era, who had any thoughts about saving up for a rainy day, right? It is only now that people have a sense of urgency and know that we need to provide for the elderly and save money. Fishermen like my dad just lived day by day and thought that a little over 1 million yuan couldn't possibly be spent in a whole lifetime. And then what happened? Xiang Cheng asked. Later, he picked up bad habits and learned from the bad examples of his friends under similar circumstances in the village. There was so much money, they couldn't spend it all, so everyone went to gamble. They gambled and gambled, until there was no money left. JIXIAN swallowed a few mouthfuls of rice. He had gotten used to eating food that Xiang Cheng had made, so the train food was like pig food now. My grandmother raised him with great effort, but in the end she was angered to death by him. So, then I lived with my maternal grandmother. Is your paternal grandmother still there? Xiang Cheng asked. It's not easy for an old person, so she probably has to rely on you. She was angered to death. JIXIAN said, literally, she died due to how angry she was. Xiang Cheng. When she heard that my father had squandered all the money, that creditors had come to take the house because he owed hundreds of thousands of yuan. She hanged herself. JIXIAN said, she hung herself from the electric fan. I didn't know anything that day. I just heard my mom quarreling with the creditors, and my mom left immediately. I was still playing inside, and when I came out, I smelled something really bad. Grandma's tongue was sticking out. I had nightmares for many months. Xiang Cheng twisted open the water bottle and poured some for JIXIAN. You can't just rely on money. Xiang Cheng said, my dad often said that all money is just worldly possessions. You have to see what you want to do first. Without ideals in life, it's like being part of the Walking Dead. JIXIAN said, they say that, but it's difficult to do so in reality. No one can escape from this circle. Living in the countryside, there's green mountains and blue waters and nothing to trouble you, but life is not as convenient as in big cities. If you were to live in the countryside, would you go? Xiang Cheng asked. Depends who I'm with. JIXIAN thought for a while and said, it also depends on what work I can find. I haven't figured out what to do next. I don't have friends there. Xiang Cheng looked out of the window and said leisurely, there are good things in the countryside. Tall mountains, big rivers, mountain spirits, wild beasts, animals, and nature. Those are all people's friends. Do you believe that there are ghosts in this world? JIXIAN turned his head and suddenly asked, my maternal grandmother said that there are many spirits in this world. They are the creatures who originally lived on this earth, and they watch us quietly from many corners. I believe it. Xiang Cheng thought for a moment and said, I am not cultured, and I don't know the scientific principles of ghosts, gods, and spirits, but I believe they exist. JIXIAN said with a smile, you took the time we spent studying to travel, and you have been to many places, so you must have heard a lot of legends. Xiang Cheng put away his boxed meal and said to JIXIAN, I was in Xiangzi once. JIXIAN's expression instantly changed, and his scalp grew numb. He thought, I was wrong, and I shouldn't have mentioned anything about ghosts, gods, and spirits. But his fear was totally unable to win out against his curiosity, and he looked forward a bit to Xiang Cheng's story. Xiang Cheng realized it and hurriedly said, I'm sorry, I'm kidding. I forgot that you're afraid of this kind of thing. I'm not. The corners of JIXIAN's mouth twitched, and he said, I'm actually not afraid, really. Xiang Cheng threw away the empty boxes as JIXIAN sat on the bunk as he thought of the rumor of those Xiangzi Ganji that had spread all over China. His entire back broke out in goosebumps. His thoughts went from the Ganji to the zombies in a Cantonese feature film, and then he started thinking about ghosts. More and more, he couldn't sit still, thinking, why hasn't Xiang Cheng come back yet? The door of the sleeper compartment was pulled open with a pala, and JIXIAN saw a blue and black face. He let out a "wa" and a deathly scream, which terrified the people inside and outside. Xiang Cheng immediately threw away his cigarette butt and rushed in to see Ji Xiaoduo with a man and a woman, a couple, outside. "Are you okay?" Xiang Cheng asked. "I'm fine." Ji Xiaoduo was still stuck in a state of lingering fright and said, "I scared myself." "Are you okay?" The boy reached a hand over and touched Ji Xiaoduo's forehead. Ji Xiaoduo held the pillow and fell onto the bunk to breathe. The girl came in with a smile and said, "Are you feeling unwell?" Ji Xiaoduo had just seen a corpse's face, but he must have overthought things and just gotten scared. When Xiang Cheng came back, he took out some fruit and gave it to the two people to eat. The boy nodded and thanked him. Ji Xiaoduo hugged the blankets, scooted closer to Xiang Cheng's side, and asked, "What did you see in Xiangzi?" "Xiang Cheng." Ji Xiaoduo said, "Go on ba, or else I'll be more afraid." "I went to Xiangzi." Xiang Cheng said, "I heard that someone had seen a mountain monster in the mountains. It had quickly run away, like the legendary Shenengjia wild men. It definitely wasn't that." Ji Xiaoduo said. The couple on the opposite bunk looked at them curiously. Ji Xiaoduo said, "Keep talking once you're done, I won't be afraid anymore." Xiang Cheng thought for a while and replied, "There was a Ganji." Ji Xiaoduo quickly shrank back, his metaphorical fur about to explode out again. By contrast, the couple on the opposite bunk was very interested as the girl listened carefully. "Once, I went hitchhiking." Xiang Cheng said, "We were driving at night, and at midnight, the driver turned on the high beams and saw a team of people behind him at the side of the road. They were walking slowly and I rolled down the window, but the driver told me not to say anything, otherwise there would be trouble. Those were Ganji. Everyone there." Ji Xiaoduo imagined that picture. On a dark road, a car drove past and the high beam shone on a group of people walking strangely at the side of the road who didn't even turn their heads back to look at anything. It was entirely chilling. "They weren't jumping around?" Ji Xiaoduo said. "Of course not." Xiang Cheng said, "Their knees could bend, and the way they walked was no different than the way a normal person does." "How many people were there?" Ji Xiaoduo asked curiously. 6. Xiang Cheng replied, "There were only 10, or 3, or 6, or 9, Ganji walking in front." Ji Xiaoduo gripped the quilt. A bird's head peeked out of the quilt and looked at Xiang Cheng sideways. The boy laughed, shook his head, and said nothing. Xiang Cheng said to Ji Xiaoduo, "The driver said that if you drive to the countryside and encounter such a group that walks slowly, doesn't look around, aren't holding anything in their hands, and don't talk, you should never stop or ask them if they need any help." As soon as Xiang Cheng said that, Ji Xiaoduo wasn't so afraid anymore and asked, "Why can they move around?" Xiang Cheng said, "It's similar to parasites. Taoism has the theory of 3 corpses. They occupy the upper, middle, and lower dantians, the corpses Ju, Ji, and Ji. If you put this kind of parasite on someone, you can use some special plants placed on long bamboo poles and wave them around, so that the dead corpses can move again. Can you make them dance?" Ji Xiaoduo said with a smile. Xiang Cheng thought for a while and replied, "I haven't tried. I can try it if I have the chance." Ji Xiaoduo asked, "What happened later?" "Later, of course, our car just drove away." Xiang Cheng said. Ji Xiaoduo asked, "What would happen if the corpse suddenly turned its head and looked at you?" Xiang Cheng, "Don't say that, it's too terrifying." Ji Xiaoduo laughed and said, "All right La, just kidding." "Was that a real story? Tell me if it was a real story." Xiang Cheng said, "I read it in story collections." Everyone laughed. Ji Xiaoduo said, "You really like reading story collections? It's like a manual." Xiang Cheng said casually. Ji Xiaoduo laughed again. The boy of the couple said, "During our internship, it was often rumored that the morgue kept losing bodies. Why don't I tell you guys a story?" "Shut up for Lao Niang." The girl's metaphorical fur exploded out. Okay, okay, I won't say anything. The boy hurriedly said. JIXIAN laughed loudly. Was that also from story collections? JIXIAN elbowed Xiang Cheng and joked. Xiang Cheng didn't say anything, he pointed at the pillow and motioned for him to lie down. Stop talking. So, this matter was temporarily broken off. Night fell, and JIXIAN found the study materials for Xiang Cheng to look at. Xiang Cheng's expression grew a bit strange. Weren't you going to take the exam for a national tour guide? Where did you find this? Wang Ren helped borrow it for me. JIXIAN said, there are also notes on scenic locations in there. Xiang Cheng looked so miserable and said, I really have to thank President Wang. No need for thanks. JIXIAN said, read it ba. Xiang Cheng. Xiang Cheng could only flip open the study materials and read them on the train. JIXIAN chatted with the couple on the opposite bunk. The boy had graduated from Guangzhou, became a doctor in Beijing and returned to the Guangzhou University of Chinese Medicine to take the exam for part-time graduate students. It just so happened that they had a holiday in June, and after the exam, he took his girlfriend back to his hometown of Luhe to see his parents. After seeing his parents, they were going back to work in Beijing. Xiang Cheng's head was spinning from reading the study materials. He waved his hand and said, I'll stop for now, I don't like studying. JIXIAN stared at Xiang Cheng, and Xiang Cheng could only read some more. At 10 o'clock at night, everyone turned off the lights and went to bed. It took 30 hours to get to Beijing, and with the price of a soft sleeper ticket, you could buy a plane ticket instead. JIXIAN thought, why bother? Wouldn't it be better to have decided to take a plane earlier? However, being together with Xiang Cheng, he was still very happy. JIXIAN lay in the lower bunk, and at night, everyone was quiet. He thought of the Ganshi they had talked about during the day, and JIXIAN was a bit afraid again. After listening to the ghost story, the lingering fear was like a toothache. It was faintly discernible, but you couldn't grasp exactly where it was, or when exactly it started up, but it always made people feel that their bladders were swollen. Sigui. JIXIAN carefully touched the bird's head. Sigui popped its head out of his clothes and took a keen look at JIXIAN. JIXIAN thought, what kind of bird is this? Back when he was a student, he had really enjoyed bird watching, but he had never seen a kind of bird like Sigui before. It was like an albatross, but it was very small, like a miniature kind. Two feathers stuck out at a slant from its tail, and JIXIAN's fingers picked at its tail. He wanted to turn it over and check whether it was male or a female, but he was stared at by Sigui. JIXIAN slept while hugging it, and the train chugged away. Later in the night, Xiang Cheng leaned out of the upper bunk with great difficulty, reached down one hand, and pulled up the quilt for JIXIAN. When the train made its halfway stop, the bright yellow light on the platform shone in. It was quiet all around, with just the snores from the opposite bunk. A dark shadow appeared in the light of the carriage from the gap between the curtains. JIXIAN opened his eyes and saw the silhouette of a head reflected at the end of his bed, swaying slightly. It was like a person spying on them from the platform, with their head blocking the platform's light. JIXIAN. Xiang Cheng hadn't fallen asleep and was staring at the ceiling. JIXIAN's first reaction was to sit up and turn his head to look back. At the moment he looked back, it seemed as though something outside had quickly left. JIXIAN suddenly felt his hair standing on end, and his heart beat faster. He thought, was that the conductor ba? Or someone at the station selling ramen? Really terrifying. JIXIAN wanted to go to the bathroom. When the train stopped, he closed the door and left the compartment to get some air. When he was in the hallway, he saw the male doctor from the opposite bunk get into the train. You went out, La? JIXIAN leaned against the window, glanced at him and then looked out of the window curiously. The male doctor looked at JIXIAN strangely, nodded and replied, N. JIXIAN's eyes blurred, and on the window, a green and terrifying face was reflected in the night. He nearly had a heart attack and tried hard to suppress his scream. That vision had only appeared for a second before it was already gone. What was going on? JIXIAN closed his eyes tightly. He must not have woken up yet. Was he the one who had looked in through the train window just now? No. Who was snoring? Was it Xiang Chang? JIXIAN felt a chill. Did I see a ghost? Fuck. JIXIAN was frightened to his wits' end. Suddenly, another person appeared in the reflection of the window. Aiya, JIXIAN shouted. Xiang Chang, don't shout. JIXIAN was so frightened that his whole body had gone soft. He leaned against the window and gasped. What's the matter? The train had started again, and the conductor came and opened the door of the bathroom. Nothing. JIXIAN said, I had a nightmare. The conductor said, be a bit quieter. JIXIAN, his back drenched in cold sweat, entered the bathroom. When he came out, Xiang Chen was smoking in the space between compartments and waved at him. What did you dream about? Xiang Chen asked, your eyes are a little red, let me see. JIXIAN walked over, and Xiang Chen lowered his head. He gently pulled open JIXIAN's eyelids with his fingers, and looked attentively at his clear pupils. JIXIAN's entire face turned bright red, and he said, I just woke up, so my eyes have some. There's no gunk there. Xiang Chen said, your eyelashes are very long, like a girl's. You are very handsome. JIXIAN was greatly embarrassed and turned his head just slightly. Xiang Chen patted him on the arm and frowned. Yi. JIXIAN said, look over there, what's that? Xiang Chen. What? Xiang Chen looked outside the train window. In the wilderness, a young man in red stood in front of a shabby house, facing the railway tracks far away. That kid. JIXIAN said, did you see him? Wearing red. N. Xiang Chen frowned and asked, what else? There was a house. JIXIAN said, the lights were even on. As the train curved, Xiang Chen turned his head slightly. He closed his eyes as his fingers twisted into a seal, and then suddenly reopened his eyes. His pupils contracted slightly and then lit up with a white light deep inside. The white light flashed away, and the world turned black and white like a film, showing a grave in the wilderness in the distance. Xiang Chen. A house. Xiang Chen nodded and replied, sleep ba. JIXIAN thought of the male doctor, and his heart was full of trepidation. He slept trembling in fear. He raised his head again in the middle of the night and fearfully looked at the opposite bunk. The male doctor was sleeping facing the wall and was very quiet. His cell phone screen lit up. Xiang Chen had sent a text message. Can't sleep. JIXIAN looked up at the upper bunk, and Xiang Chen lightly came down and sat at the end of the bed. JIXIAN sat up, but Xiang Chen signaled him to lie down and be still. He then held his feet, massaging his feet gently through his socks. It felt so nice. The strength he used was just right. JIXIAN lay there scrolling through his phone for a while. He felt that Xiang Chen stayed there for the whole time. After an unknown amount of time, he muzzily fell asleep. The next day, when JIXIAN woke up, he heard Xiang Chen talking to the girl on the opposite bunk. You snore when you sleep. Xiang Chen said. Me? I don't snore. The girl said, Agoi snores, right? The girl teased her boyfriend, and the male doctor smiled and said, I never snore. Here's something for you. Xiang Chen opened his notebook, took out a piece of yellow paper, and handed it to the girl. The girl and the male doctor's expressions changed. The male doctor started laughing and said, Handsome Ge, what's this for? Are you a Taoist? JIXIAN. JIXIAN woke up in an instant. He peeped out from under the small table, and Xiang Cheng was holding a piece of yellow papyrus in his hand. The girl and the male doctor looked at each other, for a moment neither taking it or rejecting it. Xiang Cheng didn't speak and kept that pose. The girl leaned forward and took over the papyrus. A doctor helps the world and saves people. Xiang Cheng said, you must be careful in everything. In other words, conduct yourself well. The male doctor's expression didn't look very good. He seemed to want to curse with some dirty words, but he didn't dare to speak. The train stopped, and the conductor came to inform them that they had arrived at Luhe. The girl said, thank you, and they left with their luggage. What did you just give him? JIXIAN pulled off the quilt and asked in surprise. Xiang Cheng didn't expect JIXIAN to have already woken up and glanced at him. My phone number. Xiang Cheng replied. Why give him your phone number? JIXIAN asked. To let them keep in touch with us. Xiang Cheng patted JIXIAN's knee and said, are you getting up? I'll go buy you breakfast. JIXIAN was still a little confused and kept feeling that there was something off. In his impression, Xiang Cheng never took the initiative to chat people up. Even when he went to the canteen to buy cigarettes, he just said, Hongmei, and then there was the process of counting out money and sorting out change. He actually knew how to ask a stranger on the train, do you snore when you sleep? JIXIAN couldn't help feeling a little afraid when he thought of that boy snoring last night, but now it was daytime, and his fear had been eliminated. No one else came to take the opposite bunk again. JIXIAN pondered this over and over again, his thoughts going was crazy. He suddenly suspected that Xiang Cheng had a crush on the girl. Did you take this chance to hook up with her? JIXIAN asked. N. Xiang Cheng listened to music with a book spread out in front of him as he cut the apple in his hand, the corners of his mouth slightly curving up. N. N. N N N N N N. Ah! JIXIAN's heart erupted. When he wanted to interrogate him some more, Xiang Cheng stuffed the apple into JIXIAN's mouth. JIXIAN said, this is very immoral, okay. She's with her boyfriend, ah? Yes. Xiang Cheng said absently, immoral. JIXIAN asked, do you like her? No. Xiang Cheng finally replied, facing him, don't imagine nonsensical things. JIXIAN had to stop asking questions. Looking at Xiang Cheng, he didn't seem to really care about the girl. No, ever since he met Xiang Cheng had never seemed to care much about anyone, as if there were no such thing as a friend in his world, and everyone was a stranger. Of course, besides JIXIAN. But JIXIAN kept suspecting that he was just a close roommate to Xiang Cheng, a person who was living with him every day, or that he saw him as a little brother to take care of. Some straight men were just like that, they behaved and treated their good brothers like lovers, but finally, they would run off on their own to date someone. What was even trickier was, dating someone was one thing, but they would even take their bro with them, and even after they got married, they would pull their bro with them to buy a house together. It was completely incomprehensible. JIXIAN wondered if Xiang Cheng liked him, but if he did, why didn't he confess? His hints were obvious enough. What if he really saw him as a little brother, then what? JIXIAN thought for a long time, feeling sad, then sweet, then angry, then crazy. Hell was breaking loose in his heart, and he hated that he couldn't grab Xiang Cheng's neck, shake him, and forcefully ask, do you like me or not? Ah, if you like me, say it faster. Ah. Xiang Cheng. JIXIAN. Right. JIXIAN said, do you? JIXIAN almost was about to ask, do you have someone you like, but they were together every day. If Xiang Cheng had someone that he liked, JIXIAN would definitely know. Of course, he didn't have one, and his answer would also be that he didn't have one. JIXIAN nimbly changed his question and asked, do you plan to marry, settle down, and start a family? No one wants me. Xiang Cheng said. I want you up. JIXIAN said. So, aren't I with you right now? Xiang Cheng said this without even raising his head from reading his book. JIXIAN laughed and kicked him again. Xiang Cheng grabbed JIXIAN's ankle, and JIXIAN couldn't move anymore. JIXIAN wanted to climb over and tuck himself into his arms, and Xiang Cheng generously released his hand and held him in his arms. There were many times where JIXIAN was unable to hold back and wanted to ask, do you have someone you like, but it really was too direct, and his best friend's ferocious expression came to mind, don't take the initiative. No matter what. You have to wait for him to say those last words. You can't say it. No chasing in the other direction. We must put an end to chasing. So, JIXIAN just had to bear it. They said that if you were too active, too anxious for favor and worried about its loss, Phoenix men wouldn't take you seriously in the future. However, Xiang Cheng wasn't a Phoenix man, but according to his best friend's logic, a man who kept a bird called Phoenix was of course a Phoenix man. JIXIAN was about to be killed by playing himself. When he was calling his best friend, Xiang Cheng came. Post-training notice. National First Class Registered Exorcist. Chapter 25. Shenzhen. When they arrived in Beijing, it was 8 o'clock at night. The dry heat of early summer had yet to fully dissipate, and JIXIAN and Xiang Cheng exited the station amidst the billowing waves of people. JIXIAN felt that he and Xiang Cheng were like two laborers who had headed to Beijing in search of a job. He felt the kind of fear associated with leaving one's hometown behind, without a place to stay. Xiang Cheng carried 2 bags on his back and held a plastic bag in his hand as he hurried to give someone a call. Yes. That's right. All right, I've brought someone. Xiang Cheng kept an eye on JIXIAN, not letting him out of his sight for even a moment, before finally hanging up. Where are we going? JIXIAN asked. Has the hotel been booked? Xiang Cheng said, my friend found us a place to stay. We'll take line 2 to Zizhuman station, then change to line 13 to Longs. Then, we take, which bus was it? For 5 stations, and walk for, how long? JIXIAN. After they squeezed onto the subway, JIXIAN asked, which station are we changing lines at? Xiang Cheng's expression was one of confusion. JIXIAN. I've got it. Xiang Cheng snapped his fingers. GPS, JIXIAN said, as an idea came to him. Xiang Cheng said, I have a friend in Beijing who's a government official, let me ask him. JIXIAN was squished so much that he was pressed up against Xiang Cheng. He couldn't even reach the handles, so he could only hold onto Xiang Cheng's arm. Xiang Cheng made a call, but the person on the other end didn't pick up, so he could only make a call back to that first person who had arranged living quarters for him. When they were changing subway lines, they had to wait 2 rounds before they successfully squeezed onto the right train. JIXIAN was very tired, and under the dim lights, he hugged Xiang Cheng as he nodded off. Xiang Cheng turned his head to study their surroundings from time to time, as if he was on guard about something. Beijing was really too big, and the slow, long, and boring line transfers seemed endless. Every person was standing on every sort of vehicle, speeding towards the next station in their life, which even they themselves didn't know. We're here, Xiang Cheng said, nudging JIXIAN. In the depths of the night, the two of them searched as they walked under the light of the streetlights. Xiang Cheng asked, do you regret it now? I don't. JIXIAN mustered his energy. He did actually feel a little regret, but since he was with Xiang Cheng, he was still eagerly anticipating their future life. Xiang Cheng stopped in his steps, closely observing JIXIAN. Is your eye a little better? Xiang Cheng asked. Huh? JIXIAN's eyes didn't have a problem in the first place. Xiang Cheng, however, used his hand to spread open the lids of his left eye, taking a look under the light of the street lamps. Is it very red? It isn't. Xiang Cheng immediately let go. The two of them followed the address on the text message, found the 6th floor, and knocked on the door until it opened. Xiang Cheng, a man, his torso bare, asked, a cigarette dangling from his mouth. Xiang Cheng nodded and that man handed a key to him, saying, the innermost one. This was a residence with 3 bedrooms and 1 living room, but it had been remodeled into 5 rooms with the addition of a wooden partition. Someone was playing the guitar, someone else was playing cards, and when JIXIAN passed by the largest room, he peeked in curiously, only to see that 2 girls were drying their clothes inside the room. Xiang Cheng opened the door and JIXIAN's heart blossomed with glee. There was only 1 bed. This was really too good. Let's stay here for now, Xiang Cheng said. Tomorrow I'll go ask around and see if there are any better housing communities. It's okay, JIXIAN said with heartfelt admiration. This is already very good. Xiang Cheng put away their things. There was only 1 bed and JIXIAN went to take a look in the bathroom, which was a complete mess. The hot water heater seemed like it was about to explode at any moment, so he just quickly took a shower. There was no air conditioning, and the two of them laid on the bed, shoulder to shoulder. We'll go buy a bamboo mat tomorrow, Xiang Cheng said. JIXIAN's short hair was dripping wet as he replied, this place is pretty fun. It's very good, Xiang Cheng said. When I was poor, I've even slept under an overpass before. Sleep ba. The train ride tired you out. The two of them turned off the lights. Outside, someone let out a loud roar of I'm going to sleep, stop playing the guitar. With that, the world quieted. The silence was occasionally broken by a quiet laugh or two from the women. Xiang Cheng, JIXIAN said lightly in the darkness. Xiang Cheng didn't respond, so JIXIAN nudged him gently with his elbow. I'm listening, Xiang Cheng responded. Where's he going? JIXIAN asked. Don't worry about it, Xiang Cheng said. It's gone off on its own to find food. Are you feeling hot? Let me fan you a bit. No need, JIXIAN said. The two of them were quiet again for a little longer, before JIXIAN asked in a small voice, in the darkness, will I bring you more trouble, having come with you to Beijing like this? No, Xiang Cheng said. How can you say that? I want to be with you. I don't feel safe leaving you at home. It's nothing much, JIXIAN said, but he couldn't help feeling a little apprehensive. You weren't going to work, Xiang Cheng said, so what would you do at home? I was afraid you'd be lonely, so coming together with me is perfect. JIXIAN's heart grew calm and he scooted towards Xiang Cheng's side. He found that the weather in Beijing was indeed very hot and they didn't have a fan in the room. He'd have to go buy one tomorrow. JIXIAN wanted to say something else, but he was also afraid that Xiang Cheng wanted to go to sleep and his continued talking would annoy him. He wondered, if he hugged Xiang Cheng, would that make him uncomfortable? What if he pretended that his sleeping posture was not good and went to dangle off his body like a koala? JIXIAN waited for Xiang Cheng to fall soundly asleep so that he could scoot over. Xiang Cheng's breathing evened out, but it was unclear if he had actually fallen asleep or not. After a long wait in the darkness, JIXIAN heard their neighbors begin to shake the bed. The rented place was for these drifters to stay in, so the soundproofing was not good. The shaking of the bed was accompanied by the sound of a man breathing heavily, while the other party seemed to exercise a great deal of restraint, holding in their voice the entire time. That man's stamina was far too good, and his heavy breathing was accompanied by him asking, "Does it feel good? Is hubby big or not?" JIXIAN was about to go insane from listening to that, and he sprawled on the bed, feeling so awkward that he could die. He didn't dare to move either, as he wished with all his might that they would finish soon, but the other room continued for almost half an hour, in which time Xiang Cheng turned over twice, and once when he did that, he touched Zhi Xiaoduo's foot. Zhi Xiaoduo swallowed his saliva. Xiang Cheng turned over, putting one hand at his waist, hugging him from behind. Zhi Xiaoduo's heart leapt wildly, wondering if he should turn and hug Xiang Cheng, and a moment later, he felt Xiang Cheng move a bit, as if he was leaving his pillow to look at him. Zhi Xiaoduo was so nervous that he was about to die, but he didn't dare to move randomly either. The shaking of the bed next door finally stopped. The bedroom door opened, then the bathroom door opened, and there was the sound of water splashing as someone took a shower. Zhi Xiaoduo thought, this shared rental apartment is really too much. The two of them were a bit too close, and it was a little hot. Xiang Cheng turned over again, and Zhi Xiaoduo's heart leapt wildly, but Xiang Cheng didn't turn back over. Zhi Xiaoduo had sat on a train for a day and a night, and now he was so tired that he was about to die. His eyelids fought each other, and soon, he fell asleep as well. In the middle of the night, Zhi Xiaoduo scratched wildly all over his body. Hot? Xiang Cheng asked. Mosquitoes, Zhi Xiaoduo mumbled. He was on the verge of tears as he rolled around. Xiang Cheng held up a book, fanning Zhi Xiaoduo, and Zhi Xiaoduo, finally fulfilling his heart's desire, managed to hug Xiang Cheng, as Xiang Cheng fanned him for the entire night. With that, they began their life in Beijing. The capital, in June, was already a little hot, and though the heat of the summer was nothing compared to that of Guangzhou, the most difficult thing to deal with was that there was no AC in their home. During the day, Xiang Cheng took Zhi Xiaoduo across several bus lines, going back and forth to find street food. The entire day after that, they spent in the library. Are these also study materials? Zhi Xiaoduo stared oddly at Xiang Cheng's volumes of In Search of the Supernatural and Yuming. Regional legends, Xiang Cheng said. A must-have for a tour guide. Zhi Xiaoduo. Xiang Cheng was a little stumped while looking at those words, because even though he could read traditional characters and recognize most of them, when they were strung together, he couldn't understand them anymore. These ancient texts were really going to be the end of him. Do you want an explanatory text? Zhi Xiaoduo watched Xiang Cheng's fingers move through and check, line by line. No need, Xiang Cheng replied. The explanatory texts have too many parts where they make assumptions. Help me see if there's the Book of Gods and Strange Things and Kanxi's Higuai. Zhi Xiaoduo, do you want the Classic of Mountains and Seas and Huanenzi? The Classic of Mountains and Seas isn't reliable, it's too old, Xiang Cheng replied. Huanenzi and the Records of Diverse Matters Ba. Zhi Xiaoduo went to find the books, while Xiang Cheng looked through the tour guide material, making notes studiously on the introduction to the regions as well as flipping through various books. Zhi Xiaoduo had been a top student for so many years, so he thought that since he had nothing to do anyway, he could get a cost engineer certification at the same time. When he was done playing around, he could also go hang that up and get money. They continued like this for almost half a month, self-studying all day and listening to the bed shake at night. Zhi Xiaoduo actually really liked this kind of life, especially this feeling of studying earnestly with Xiang Cheng every day to prepare for a test, because it was just like the two of them were going through university again. They had returned to those carefree summers spent on campus, wearing white t-shirts and shorts, each working hard towards their own goal in the public self-study room. Xiang Cheng filled up their temporary living space a little and bought a few appliances. Aside from the first day when he and Zhi Xiaoduo had been squished very close, his chance disappeared after that. Zhi Xiaoduo was constantly waiting for a chance when he could successfully, in a logical fashion, get to hug him a bit. One day towards the end of June, the weather was extremely hot and humid. Zhi Xiaoduo woke up in the middle of the night and turned over, only to find that the bed was empty. Xiang Cheng had disappeared, and there were noises coming from the bathroom. JIXIAN thought that Xiang Cheng had gone to pee, so he slumped on his stomach and continued to sleep, but very indistinctly, the sound of the door opening outside traveled to his ear. It was the next door neighbor who had finished shaking the bed and gone to shower, and JIXIAN immediately woke up. Where had Xiang Cheng gone? Dark clouds covered the moon and the entire city was muggy beyond belief. Xiang Cheng held a bottle of beer, his upper half bare, wearing nothing more than a pair of white athletic shorts. His body was sweaty as he sat by the floorbeat outside Hualongguan Street, listening to music, quietly drinking beer under the streetlights. His hair had been cut very short and his eyes had a sharp edge to them that he failed to hide. In the floorbeat next to him was stuck the demon-subduing staff. An old man with a cane walked over along the road, and Xiang Cheng reached out with the demon-subduing staff, blocking that old man's way forward. "I didn't kill him," the old man said, quivering. "The goods aren't with me either, young man, it's not good to have too much resentment. I knew that today, you would come." Xiang Cheng said coldly, "I waited for you for 17 nights, come with me." At 2 o'clock, JIXIAN was being blown by the breeze from the fan, his expression one of dismay. Where did he go? Where did he go? Where exactly could he have gone? JIXIAN was about to go insane. It was the middle of the night, how come he wasn't at home? Had he gone to take a customer? Impossible. He couldn't have gone to take up his old line of work again, could he? JIXIAN hastily took a shower, then sat back on the bed, every hour passing like a year. 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. The sky brightened, and JIXIAN was on the verge of tears. At 8:30, Xiang Cheng still hadn't come back. JIXIAN began to call him but his phone was off. That couldn't be. Was his phone was out of battery? JIXIAN was on the verge of despair. At 10 o'clock in the morning, JIXIAN's feelings were that he was so tired and so hungry, why hadn't Xiang Cheng come back yet? At 2 in the afternoon, the husband and wife next door were having a shouting match. JIXIAN fell face first downwards, on his last breath. He was unable to hold out any longer, and he fell asleep again. When he woke up, the tenants of the rented apartment had returned, and they were loud and boisterous as they took a shower. The room was still dark. JIXIAN swiped on his phone. It was 10 at night, and there were no missed calls. No way, he still hadn't come back. JIXIAN had a sense of foreboding that something terrible had happened, but when he tried to make a call to his bestie didn't pick up. From yesterday night at 12 o'clock to tonight at 10, it was almost about to be 24 hours. What had happened? JIXIAN sat up and began to rummage through Xiang Cheng's bag. He poured the contents out haphazardly onto the bed, but Xiang Cheng hadn't taken anything with him. That wasn't right. What was this? There was a handful of ancient copper coins, which were carved with the 4 words mountain, sea, bright, light, a few stone guardians that were completely identical with the one placed at the head of the bed, as well as a beat-up umbrella with its spokes exposed. JIXIAN hadn't checked Xiang Cheng's luggage before, nor had he gone through his bag, and there were so many odd things in there. Xiang Cheng would definitely never leave him behind and disappear for 24 hours without a word, so there was only one possibility: he had gone missing. JIXIAN's eyes immediately reddened, and he almost burst out into tears. He hurried to tell himself, calm down, you must not panic. Did he get robbed when he went out in the middle of the night to buy things? The more JIXIAN thought about it, the more afraid he felt. He rubbed his temples. Should he report it to the police? He'd go report it to the police first. JIXIAN had been hungry for an entire day, and his head spun as he went down the stairs, only to find that it had begun to rain in Beijing. The cars went back and forth, and when he was crossing the street he almost got hit. Thankfully it was just a scare and he was okay. His mind, however, began to think along these lines in response to that, and he thought of a possibility: Could Xiang Cheng have been hit by a car when he went downstairs to buy things? No, no. He shouldn't scare himself like this. JIXIAN asked his way to the Hualongguan police station, and half an hour later, he sat like a drenched chicken in front of the counter at the police station, panting for breath. Don't be nervous, the police said, pouring him a glass of water. Speak slowly, what happened? My friend's gone missing, JIXIAN said. How long has he been missing for? 1 day, a day and night. The rain lessened a little, and JIXIAN braved the rain as he walked out of the station. Since it hadn't been 72 hours yet, he couldn't open a case, and the policeman only simply noted it down and sent JIXIAN back home to wait. His bestie called, and JIXIAN was about to go crazy. He yelped, Xiang Cheng's gone missing. Woo, his bestie said, her face expressionless as she patted cream onto her face. And then? Come back, what are you doing running off to Beijing? Come back quickly, and let's go learn how to arrange flowers ba. JIXIAN replied, stop joking around. I'm dying of anxiety. His bestie said, let me tell you, today I saw a book, where after the gong confirmed his relationship with the Shao and they went to bed, he disappeared like steam from the human realm after that. This kind of thing, don't take it too seriously. Come back home ba. Maybe the other party really has fallen in love with you but feels like he doesn't have the qualifications to be with you. Impossible, JIXIAN said dejectedly. I won't believe it. For a person who was perfectly fine a moment ago to disappear so suddenly, definitely means that there's a problem. Plus, Xiang Cheng's not that kind of person. You may know a person's face but you do not know their heart, his bestie replied. How about this, don't worry too much. Wait 1 more day. If he hasn't come back then, I'll fly to Beijing and help you search. What's happening? Chi Wei's voice said from the other end. Kikai. JIXIAN said. Quick, let Kikai speak. Chi Wei took the phone and JIXIAN explained what was going on. Chi Wei only listened silently but JIXIAN remembered what Xiang Cheng had said before they came, and he asked, Xiang Cheng said you asked him to do something, what was it? Is it dangerous? What exactly are you two doing behind my back? Chi Wei replied, don't worry, I'll contact my friend in Beijing right now. I haven't even handed off my task to him. I merely heard that he was going to Beijing to take his exam, so I mentioned it offhandedly. JIXIAN sighed, and after agreeing to contact each other whenever something came up, he went home. Sitting like this, doing nothing, was also not going to work. JIXIAN thought for a bit, and he concluded that he still had to think of some way to do something. He knocked on door after door, and after taking a loop and asking around, none of the people sharing the apartment knew where Xiang Cheng had gone. Only a bespectacled man from next door that shook the bed said, "You're gig. I ran into him last night." "Where?" JIXIAN asked. "The convenience store outside the Hualongguan New District," the bespectacled man said. "I saw that he had finished running and was buying beer to drink." "What's up?" "He didn't come back the entire night." JIXIAN picked up Xiang Cheng's broken umbrella and went down again. Under the continued pattering of the raindrops, he opened the black umbrella and waded through the water onto the street. He found the convenience store that the bespectacled man had been talking about, and pulled out his phone, asking the worker if this person had come to buy things last night. The worker just happened to be the same one from the night shift, and he had a strong impression of the man with the sculpted pecs and athletic style. He told JIXIAN, and JIXIAN kept searching along the way. JIXIAN took 2 rounds along the route that Xiang Cheng had been on, but with no reward. The light rain swirled through the air, blanketing the dark sky as it fell, raining down onto the human realm, raining down towards the vast land. Under the yellow haze of the streetlights, the rain was like ox hairs. JIXIAN lifted his head from under the umbrella, staring fixedly at the sky. At 11 o'clock at night, JIXIAN pushed open the door to their rented place. Inside was completely quiet, but there was the sound of a quiet chuckle. 2 policemen stood at the entrance, as well as a young man. JIXIAN's expression changed and his mind immediately conjured up the movie script scenario of the cop saying to him, "Hello, little comrade, we found your friend's body." A mink was perched on one of the young man's shoulders, and it watched JIXIAN with a piercing gaze. JIXIAN met its gaze for a while, guessing at the young man's identity internally. "Hello," the young man reached out a hand, shaking hands with Chen Zhen. "Hello," JIXIAN said, nodding puzzledly. "Let me introduce myself, my name is Chen Zhen," that young man said. "As for the rest, let's talk at the police station, ba." End chapter.